Welcome to Ear Biscuits, the podcast where two lifelong friends talk about life for a long time. I'm Link.
And I'm Rhett. This week at the round table of dim lighting, we're going to hear about Link's 2 birthday parties. I was present for one of them, in which something very funny happened for not the first time. And also, we have both now seen movies that the other guy had seen.
Yes.
And talked about, and now we've seen them. And
yeah. We'll also check some of your voicemails because you're important to us.
Second only to family and God.
That would be okay. So family and God are 1. Tied for 1.
No, but what was it? Jesus, others, and you. Joy.
That's the only way to spell joy. I have instituted a 2-party system in my life for my 47th birthday, and it has come to a close, and I've concluded that it is good. I have 2 different parties. That's what I did. I could have had a 3rd party. I might do, the next year might be a 3-party system.
Third party.
Could be a 4-party.
Don't we need one of those? 3rd party?
You keep trying to push the religion and politics buttons, but they're inoperable today.
Well, I mean, you're the one who responded to them.
I said 2-party system. Yes, that was a political pun, but nothing more than that.
The 3rd party was just really the next
you really went for it.
You're like a middle schooler deciding that his friend groups can't mix.
It's Monday morning, and as of this past weekend, my 2-party system was completely executed flawlessly. I had a friend party on Friday night, and then I had a different friend party on Saturday night. The previous year, I had everybody at the one party, which was fine, but I felt stretched a bit thin.
You also were like, even at that party, you could always tell what you're thinking about, and it usually is something like that, a very specific detail about like, how is this party right now that I'm at? How is it going?
Well, I was the host, Brett.
I know, but like
I was hosting.
You would like go around and you would talk to people, and then you would stand there and you would look at people, and then you would say things. And I was like, he's really thinking about how this is going. And I find it interesting that the application was that something about it wasn't quite right, so you needed to make a change.
It was really great for what it was, but this year I needed a change. I needed to have just more quality, intimate party encounters than a broad, stretched, thin type. I wanted to be a dollop and not like a spread.
Okay.
So this year I dolloped myself on, my long-standing, tried and true friends. I just called you one of my true friends, right?
Oh, I appreciate that.
You were in the true friends party, and then the next night was
your work friends.
Was the dad friends party.
Remember that?
The dad friends party.
Dad friends, okay. But not their wives, right?
Nope, not their wives.
Okay. So you've just basically said you don't need the wives in that group.
Well, some of the wives I'm close with, but some of the wives I'm not. Some of the wives like to show up for things, and some of them don't.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's not as uniform there. So
okay.
This was my solution to fix all that. And I'm feeling great, except I think I might be a bit tired because it was quite a weekend. Because Friday, it was conceptualized as a small, intimate dance party with some DJing. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be doing some DJing, and I can't remember what my point was. How late did we go? We went till like
I left 12:30.
12:30 or 1, I think me and Christy got home at 1:30 from the party.
Yeah.
We were the last to leave because we hosted the party. Yeah. That was a chicken nuggets and cinnamon roll party.
Yeah, and
pretty
also
good, right?
Quite a lot of charcuterie. around the nuggets.
I asked Christy, I said, Christy, I just want chicken nuggets and cinnamon rolls. And then, of course, she rolls up with, and I went over there early. I went over to the Creative House where we were having this party, and I was like getting some stuff ready. Turns out there wasn't that much to get ready, but I was over there an hour and a half early, okay? And then Christy shows up like an hour or 45 minutes early, and she's like making multiple trips, and she's talking to herself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh. And then I realize, boy, she keeps bringing stuff in.
Yep.
And stuff. Like she had this board, like a 5-foot board, a charcuterie board that she put down. And yeah, she put chicken nuggets on it, but then she put all this other charcuterie stuff on it. And I'm realizing, oh, I should have
helped.
Well,
can I tell you what?
I didn't even realize. I was just like, nuggets and cinnamon rolls. How easy is that going to be? I'm going to handle the music. I'll handle making sure that the place is leaf blown and everything's good there. And, we'll meet in the middle. But there was a big discrepancy in terms of the amount of prep that Christy put into my party and how much I put in.
And I walked into the midst of it.
And I told you.
Well, first of all,
when we left work that day, I was like,
you said, don't be fashionably late.
Don't be fashionably late.
And I was like, well, it sounds like it was directed at me personally as if I was gonna be fashionably late.
I wanted you and Jesse to be there on time.
So we showed up at like 7:34.
Right on time.
And I noticed as I walked into the kitchen that Christy had a look on her face, and you had a look on your face.
I did have a look on her face because I'm the one who put it there.
And she was attempting to make this charcuterie board, and I could tell that based on what I saw, I was walking into a situation in which you were not being helpful. But it wasn't that you weren't trying to be, but your attempts to be helpful were obviously coming across as a hindrance. And I really felt for her.
I had already been like monstrously unhelpful, and I think that's really what you were feeling.
Well, and what you had just done is for some reason
of...
you had cut the fan on that was above the charcuterie board, and you had blown stuff all over it.
Well, I turned on I was like, there's a fan that'll suck the air out of here, and it'll get some ventilation going because it had gotten hot in that room with all the charcuterie. So I turn on the fan, and it makes this weird noise because we've never turned on this fan at the Creative House, and it was like chopping stuff up.
Yeah.
And then
it's like
sprinkling it on top of and so she's like moving everything, and there's like all this detritus,
But also, what you were,
it wasn't helpful.
It wasn't helpful. It was unnecessary too, because when I walked in, it was so cold.
Oh.
It was so cold in the house.
Well, we got our wires crossed a bit.
It's like, the first thing you said to me was like, I got the AC on, and I was thinking like, it's not a hot day. It's already, you have it on 67, and it is 67 in here. I was like, well, I don't really know I don't know where this is coming from.
I'm glad you're here on time so you can help us make sure everything's okay.
But the great thing about our relationship between all of the friends there is that Christy could just tell us that she was currently annoyed by you, and we were like, oh, yes. And
you almost said, of course.
And then she was able to, during the moment of bringing out the cake, which was the cinnamon rolls.
Yeah.
She was able to be like, I've been, in a funny way, basically, yes, I've been upset with Link. But then she was like, but you all understand. And everyone was like, yes, we do. And we love him for it.
And I gave a speech, and the speech was basically about how, it's nice to throw a party with your closest friends so you don't have to hide the fact that you're in a fight.
Yeah.
And I said,
it was a beautiful thing.
Christy's the one who called it a fight. And I said, well, hold on. It's not a fight because I agree with you. But she's like, yeah, I'm just perturbed with you because you signed me up to do all this stuff and then you're not helpful at all. And I'm like, I agree.
Not because you're not trying. It's just sometimes your choices.
I think the word was maybe
counterproductive.
A little oblivious too.
Yeah.
Oblivious to what it takes.
Yeah.
Maybe I have what it takes. I'm just oblivious. to knowing what it takes.
Yeah, only one way to find out. Try different things.
I'd rather it be that than for me to be, let's see,
knowingly hurting the situation.
Knowing what I needed to do, but I'm incapable of doing.
Yeah, that's worse.
Isn't it better to be capable, but to be oblivious, not actually do it? Don't answer that.
The worst is to be both capable and knowingly make a decision to not help. That would be the worst.
Oh yeah, that's not me.
Right.
And she, we had a fun party, and I did win her over. I started playing all of her favorite Billie Eilish songs, and I won her over. And I think she was,
she wasn't
pretty decent by the end of the night.
She wasn't. I mean,
she enjoyed all of y'all.
It was a comical annoyance. It wasn't like, I'm not speaking to you.
Yeah, it's like one friend said, it's like y'all been together for 25 years of marriage. Something tells me y'all gonna be all right. I was like, yeah, exactly. And we were both standing there when that conversation was being had, so it wasn't.
But something happened.
Yeah, something happened.
That has happened before.
Yeah.
So we had a friend.
And then I'll tell you about my second party that you weren't invited to.
We had a friend there who is a producer, musician. And
Brian, the guy who was in our We 3D Printed a Fart video.
Yes.
For Wonder Hole Season 0.
Yeah, he's a good friend. And, this is the kind of friend group in which maybe if you've been working on something, you can share it with the group. Yeah. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah. He was talking to me about a new sound that he was working on, which was pretty exciting. And I was like, oh, I got to hear this. So he was like, well, I got a couple of demos I can text to you. You can play it if you want to. So it was like, he left it up to me. I was like, yeah, later on in the evening, there was like a perfect time. Everybody was hanging out. We were listening to music. And I was like, all right, I'm going to play. Brian's letting me play some of a couple of demos that he's got, that he's worked up.
And it's on your phone because you're connected to the system.
Mm-hmm.
And so most everybody comes into the room. You start playing it, and it's a dance track.
Yeah.
So people who have been dancing continue or start to dance. And then people who were in the kitchen started coming out of the kitchen and came into the living room, and they start dancing, and we're like, yeah, this is Brian's demo, whatever.
Yeah.
And then right when everyone is on board, everyone is completely entranced by this sound, it goes away. And that's because Link's phone went to sleep. Because you were holding it and you were connected to it, and when your phone goes to sleep, which is about as quickly as an iPhone can go to sleep.
That's because I don't like it. I like it to get its rest, so I put it on the setting where it'll get its rest.
And at that point, Mike, who was also there, said, basically he was like, okay, yep, this has happened before. And we began to recount the multiple times. I think one time we were listening to my music, and another time it was you were trying to play a song for us. But what you would do is you would bring it up on your phone, and then you would get distracted
by the song.
Put your phone down, and then it would go to sleep. And one time it happened, I think 4 times in a row on the same song.
Yeah.
And so
it happened to Brian's song, and then I'm looking at my phone, and you can't just wake the phone up and just unpause it. No. For some reason, with the way that I was playing it, you texted us in some quick time player, I don't know.
You have to hit a volume button. You have to do some things to keep the phone engaged.
In order for me to restart it, I had to restart the song from the beginning.
Right. But we made the call in that moment. Mike and I said, give the phone to someone else. Let's not go through this again. So we gave the phone to Brian. And Brian took your phone. And for some reason, we could have just turned the go to sleep function off on your phone.
Futzing with my settings.
But so Brian would just stay there, and he kept hitting the screen to make sure. And he never lost focus. He played the whole song, then played another song.
So he's playing another song.
So he starts the second song. He's in charge of the phone. He's staying on top of it. And then I'm watching you, and you go over to the DJ booth, And you're kind of like you're kind of into what he's doing. You're like motioning or whatever.
Yeah, I'm into what he's doing.
And then you put your headphones on, but you do it in that like DJ way where like one ear out, one ear in. And then you immediately go down to the whatever it is, and you like hit something to like adjust it, and immediately the song stops. So you found a way. And what you did, Mike diagnosed this, is that as soon as you did anything on your system, you sent basically a signal
override
to your sound system to come back to whatever's happening at the DJ booth.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I saw you doing it, and I was like thinking, what is he doing right now? Like, we're all listening to this thing out here. I don't know how DJing works, so. But you were like, and then it went off, and you were like,
just looked up.
was that me? Yes.
No, I don't think I said was that me at first. I knew it was me. Because the moment I moved the slider just slightly.
I the only other person who witnessed
and everybody else is just looking around. And Brian had the phone.
And Brian's like, I don't know. He said
no.
Going.
Everybody looked at the phone and looked at Brian. Everybody thought Brian did it. And I was like, well, I'm going to be quiet. So I was quiet and everybody looked at Brian. Brian was like, it's still going.
Yeah.
And then I was like, everybody looked at me and I was over there. It was me.
Yeah. You found a way.
Well, even without the phone, I still found a way to do it.
You found a way. and he was like, it was just getting to the good part.
I did take the phone back and then, oh no, you know what? He found a way to fast forward back to the right part.
Yeah, so we did get to listen to the good part.
So we did do that. But yeah, here's what I was thinking at that moment.
Okay, yeah.
This is his second demo. He's only got 2. Everybody's in the room. Everybody's into it.
Oh, you wanted to be ready for the next song.
What I have to do is I have to be ready when this song is over to ride the wave into another song. I've got everybody exactly where I want them. Brian's done his work with his demo. Now I can take how everybody's dancing and they're vibing, and I can once that song's over, everybody's gonna clap and tell Brian how great it is and how excited they are. And then as the volume goes up in celebration, then all of a sudden, bam, I drop a banger.
Yeah.
And that's what I was doing.
And now I'm sensing a pattern. No one questions your intentions. You always intend well. Like when you turn the fan on over the charcuterie.
It was thoughtful. It was full of thought.
It was full of thought, but then it ends up not kind of making a mess. And in this situation, what your plan was sound. Your execution was
couldn't have been worse.
So I just think it's about the North Star for you is how can your plan and your execution of the plan come to the same level. That's and it's great. It's great to be 47 and to have that as your North Star.
I will say at one point, another North Star is to DJ, you have to keep your wits about you. And there was a certain point in the party when I'd gone witless. I'd just gone balls to the wall witless. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't figure out how to get any of my DJ equipment to work. I don't know if you noticed this.
Was that the lull?
It was when it was quiet, when there was no music. I think this was earlier in the evening, actually, when like I'm playing music from my phone at a certain point and I'm trying to play music from my records, and I couldn't get my records to take back over in the way that they did later for Brian inadvertently. So I ended up having just to play music from my phone. And which was kind of a defeat as a DJ, have to do that. But
I thought you just made that choice at some point to be like, I don't want to have to worry about the records the whole time.
Yeah, I leaned into that, and that worked. Like when the dance party was at its most dance party, I actually wasn't even DJing. I was just playing music from my phone, but I was also dancing.
But it was good.
None the wiser. Nobody
good
knows.
Music.
This is all stuff.
I mean, one time I went over there and saw that the records weren't turning. I was like, oh, okay, we're doing something a little different.
Yeah, even at one point, Christy was like, oh, this is my song. He's playing my record right now. And I'm thinking, well, technically no, but it is from the record that I had that I was going to play, but now I'm just...
But I mean, record can be used as in that. That still means my song.
Yeah, I got it working later. My wits came back to me.
It was a good party.
Thank you.
It was a good party, and
It was a good party. Good friends, good party. Anything could have happened. It would have been a good party because of the people we had.
Jesse commented as we were going home how blessed we were to have the friends that we have, and I definitely agree. We have, so I think you made a place where your plan and your execution really came together is the two-party system. I'm not saying that she would not have been saying that if you had the wider group of people, but maybe she wouldn't be.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because those are people that we've really had a lot of experiences with, and we bonded, and we,
right.
There's a depth of trust,
right,
with that group, and it is really unusual.
And you're not being introduced to anybody.
Yeah.
It's like if you're at a party when everybody already knows everybody, then you're just catching up. But if there's more than like a couple of people that you're meeting for the first time, it changes the vibe entirely of the party. It does.
It does.
It gives people the excuse to clump up and also to leave early.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things that Jesse said.
There's a time for it.
It was interesting that she put it this way. She was like, there's a lot of really good men in that group.
Huh.
Which is because
that's true.
I think that's hard to find. And you got these guys who have been like everybody in that room has been in a relationship.
Yeah.
For a minimum of a decade.
Yeah.
Most people a couple. And it's just like the level of drama is so low.
It's beautiful.
There's just, it's just this low drama, high loyalty.
Yeah.
High commitment people.
Right.
And
which is kind of what I was saying, part of it. Like, it's a safe space to say that, we're putting on this party and we're in the midst of a fight. You might experience some tension. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
And also, like,
it's
the way that everybody was dancing, this is not what I would say is like, if you were to just see a sudden, like, video feed of this group dancing, you wouldn't be like, well, these are the coolest people in LA.
Right.
You wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? You would be like,
no, we're not.
These are people who just don't care. These are people who aren't trying to be a certain way for each other. In LA, that can be such a difficult thing. Jessie, she's a designer. She appreciates art, and she talked me into going to an art show. I've been to a few. And one of them was at this house in Hollywood. And it was like, if you're like a member of something, like you're on some mailing list or whatever, you find out about these things. And so she's on that kind of thing. And one night she was like, let's go to this art show. It's in this like art house. Like it is a house, but there's art up in the house, and the house is in a neighborhood, but it's the neighborhood just above the Chateau Marmont. So it's that part of town.
Okay. This is Hollywood Hills.
And I wasn't particularly excited, but I was like, this is something a little different. I'll go to it. And we went to it, and there's a line outside. It takes a while to get in, and then we get in, and it was a part of LA that we don't often find ourselves in. We go to parties that are sometimes industry related, and so there will be a lot of people who are trying to impress and are dressed in a certain way, and we're right there with them trying to be cool and whatever.
Yeah.
But this was something in which it was just this art show, and there was this kind of a scene there. And first of all, I definitely felt like the oldest person there. But
young people shopping for art, huh?
Bunch of 20-something-year-olds who are the kind of people who would go to an art thing in LA, all super cool, super good looking.
Maybe not about the art though.
I mean, a little bit about the art and a little bit about how they look and how other people look or whatever.
Okay.
And I definitely didn't want to stay. We looked at the art and then we left, and Jesse didn't want to stay either. I was like, I'm not the kind of guy that goes into a place like that and starts talking to people that I don't know. So I'm going to see the art, I'm going to leave. And But so many of the spaces in LA can be like that. We don't go to those places very often, but it's just so refreshing to be amongst a group of people who just, it's not about that. It's not about, what do you think of me? And that's what I'm thinking about right now.
Yeah.
Everyone's thinking about themselves and how they're perceived. And that can be so many spaces. It's nice. It's relaxing to have go to a place where that's not the case.
Yeah. I didn't even think about what I was going to wear.
I only thought about the weather, whether or not we were going to go outside or not.
Uh-huh.
So I had a jacket.
Yeah, that was good. Success, and I was glad to bring us together, and I appreciate you saying in the group chat that you appreciated me creating the opportunity to bring everybody together.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I do. Like Montel Williams.
Yeah, and specifically I think
Montel Jordan.
I think what I said
like both of them.
Was I appreciate Link.
This is how we do it.
I appreciate Link being intentionally bringing all of us together and unintentionally making Christy upset.
And I appreciate Christy for doing all the work. She is so awesome. The next night, Christy wasn't invited, so she was off the hook. She was like, listen, you're doing your thing. And, this is my dad club boys. There's six of us total. And I was like, all right, guys, I want to make a real go of this. We're going to meet up at 4:15, and we're going to go until. I'll just go ahead and tell you, I got in bed at 4.
Good God.
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore, man.
It was a big night. I got us tickets to see Friendship, the Tim Robinson, Paul Rudd movie that you highly recommended, at the Alamo Drafthouse downtown.
Oh.
And because it was one of the few places that it was still playing.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to see it on streaming now if you haven't seen it. And 2, it's an experience to see a movie at the Alamo Drafthouse. It's a really cool venue. And I was really happy that we had worked with them for Good Mythical Evening 2 years in a row, and like people buy tickets and they can watch the event there. If you've never been to Alamo Drafthouse, you sit down and somebody comes in front of you and waits on you. They'll bring you beers, all types of food.
Anything you ask for.
And then when they're playing their previews, they have like custom-made previews, like original content interspersed within them. Sometimes they'll show archival footage. They curate a preview experience, which is fun. So you go to the movie theater early. The moment
you sit down, you are engaged with something that's actually entertaining.
And they'll
put a pin in that, because I had the exact opposite experience that I want to complain about in a little bit.
Okay. So here, they will show actual trailers, which a number of these movies just seem so good. There's like this P.T. Anderson movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio that looks...
Is that One Battle After Another or something like that?
I can't remember what it's called, but it looks really good. His last movie, I think, was Licorice Pizza, which I really enjoyed.
One Battle After Another?
One Battle After Another, yeah. It looks really good. And so I wanted to give the boys that experience. Only one of the guys had been to Alamo Drafthouse. So it's like, you're walking, every part of it is thoughtful.
Except the parking and the getting to the theater.
Well, we Ubered.
Oh, then you're great.
So you fix that.
If you have to park, you park in this parking deck, and then it's like a maze to one solitary elevator that moves very slowly that gets you to the right level.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They got to work on that.
I was dropped off curbside.
But that's better.
So the first thing we do is we watch this movie. And let me tell you right now, I told him, I was like, listen, some of y'all might hate me when this movie's over because Tim Robinson is a very polarizing comedian. But you just need to, at the least, embrace what he's going for and his level of commitment to it. Okay? Turns out I didn't need to give that. These are my friends. I mean, they got good taste. They hang out with me.
That's true. They've been tolerating you for years.
Right.
They can take Tim Robinson.
All right, you've been admiring nothing but my commitment all these years. Yeah. So it's like, just keep doing that. The movie was uproariously funny, man. I mean, you told me that you saw the movie with your brother and your families back home in North Carolina, and you were talking about how, did you talk about it on this podcast?
Yes, on this podcast.
Yeah, on this podcast, you remember, about how being in the room with all those people laughing made all the difference. So I was really looking forward to this. People, right from the get-go, were just laughing so hard
did people laugh as soon as he came into focus and said that one line?
Oh, you mean when they're in the cancer support meeting where his wife is finally free and clear of cancer?
And he's like, it's not coming back. Like that's the opening line.
Yeah.
And LA is a great place to watch a movie.
Oh my God.
It
was so funny.
I was really happy that indie theater in North Carolina was such a good spot, but the response that you get from the audience can make it a much more enjoyable experience than just watching it at home.
I feel like I encountered a brown lining to this cloud. This wonderful cumulus cloud of just cackling with laughter in a group of people.
Brown lining?
Yeah, dude. What do you think about this? Okay, so we're all sitting on a row, 5 of us. One guy was meeting us later. And then at the end of the row, there's a couple. That's the end of the row. And so it's me, my friend Brian, and then the couple. And they were laughing. Boy, they were laughing. The woman was laughing so hard at stuff. And then I noticed that whenever something funny was said, she not only would laugh, but she would repeat.
Oh, she's a repeater.
She would repeat what was funny that was said.
Yeah, we don't need a repeater.
It's a thing. I mean, I've listened to podcasts where this is a thing. Culturally, where like people are getting, and I think it's a podcast culture thing. In some settings, when you were friends, the way that they tell you that they think you're funny is not just by laughing at it, but by saying it back to you. People do this on podcasts and apparently in movie theaters. We don't do this.
No, I think it's a different thing.
He thinks it's a different thing.
No, I do this to you. But the way I do it, and usually it's on GMM, half of my jokes on GMM are just saying what you just said in a different way. To put it in context for the normal people.
You've made a new joke.
I've made a new joke by just saying it with timing. That's
this
different.
Woman was never making a new joke.
I know what she was
celebrating how funny the specifics of the words were by saying those specific words again. And she was a bit too close to me. At first, I liked it because I was like, yeah, that was
just
funny.
In case you didn't hear it, it's like closed captioning. It's like, what was that? Oh, yeah, there it is. There it is. That's right. It's not coming back. That's it.
The movie was so funny that it didn't matter. I'd rather have her repeating lines than it being quiet. I mean, it was just, I was laughing so hard. It was the first time when I just realized that, like, I was laughing so hard that my face was just it was like frozen in a fixture of smiling. Like,
it's so great.
Because even when you're not laughing, you're like, it's a cringe thing too. Because
how many people were like, "Oh my God!
It's
oh
classic
no!
Cringe comedy.
Oh no!"
Every single scene.
There was people who covered their faces.
Here's the interesting thing: he didn't write it or direct it. It was written and directed by another person
for him.
For him, obviously, and to perfection, like written for his character to just step in and do it. And I'm so glad that, like, I would think the chances of saying no to that are pretty high. Oh, somebody wrote something I write stuff for myself. I have I won an Emmy for my Comedy Central show. I've done another show. So I would think, okay, so now all of a sudden somebody's going to swoop in and write for my character. It's like, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I was really encouraged that it worked so well. Every scene was set up that you knew, and you just had to just tighten up as the scene unfolded because you're just waiting for him to just interact in it in a way that just is always the worst possible way.
And also where the story goes.
It never got old.
The choices of where the story goes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So now
I don't know what
man.
my favorite.
You were gushing about it.
My favorite moment of the movie is, but this one's in the trailer. So spoiler alert, but it's in the trailer. I can't not watch a trailer once it starts. But the thing is it didn't ruin this moment for me.
You talking about the sliding glass?
No, when they're in the basement for the first night and the guy's talking about the trouble that he's having and they start singing that song together.
Because they're an a cappella group and you didn't know that.
Right.
And he didn't know that.
But the choices for something like that to happen, when you conceptualize something like that, it's really difficult to know if it's going to land. And I just feel like so many choices were not the safe choice, but they were the
right.
This is the funniest choice. This is the most unexpected choice, but all of it completely makes sense. Going into the sewer, like it's so little boy.
Yeah.
Little grown-up boys who are still trying to be trying to be men. Oh, I loved it.
Then he takes her down there.
Yeah.
And she was great. So she was the star of House of Cards.
Yeah, Kate Mara. And she's perfect for when he's able to put the fact that he was able to play, have Paul Rudd essentially doing his Anchorman character.
Yeah.
And Kate Mara being totally straight.
But still messed up in her own way.
Oh, yeah.
Like, to be with him, you have to be 2 screws loose. And like, so the way that she talks about her ex-husband.
And the son like kissing her on the lips.
It's like she's intimate with everyone except him.
Okay, so the movie that I saw, and it's funny because I kind of feel like I had the opposite experience of you in a couple ways. I'm an AMC man. I'm sorry, because first of all, there's an AMC in Burbank that I will go to. I think I'm a Stubbs member. I don't know. I go into the yellow line.
Uh-huh.
And
why are you going into yellow line if you don't know?
No, I know I am. I don't pay a certain fee and get to watch as many movies as I want to. That's like another thing. I'm the whatever you can kind of get like a little discount on your popcorn and you go into the line early.
Yeah.
And they had the Coca-Cola freestyle machine.
I know.
Okay, I've made it very clear.
We know that specialty.
If you don't have a caffeine-free option other than mug root beer, who do you think we are? We want to sleep. Why do we not have caffeine-free options at the movie? 90% of all movie watching is done at night. Give us caffeine-free options. It will be the number one thing people drink.
Isn't that where they make all their money anyway? Caffeine-free popcorn?
I don't understand. Caffeine-free diet drinks. That's what we need. But then we sat down with our water. God.
Caffeine-free?
Popcorn and water.
Hard times.
Felt like I was in the medieval times. not the restaurant, but like literally back in those days. And I was like, the modern world we don't need water anymore. So I sit down, and I was there to see Sinners, late to the party.
Okay.
You had seen Sinners.
Yep.
And I got to say, everyone has built up Sinners, and
except for me. You
had a different take. All you told me was it was a little too built up for me, is what you told me.
That's all I said.
And I knew nothing about the movie. Nothing. Other than that Michael B. Jordan was in it. I didn't know he and his brother were in it.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
I didn't know I didn't know the twist. I didn't know the unexpected thing. I didn't know it was a period piece. I loved it.
Yeah, it is great.
I loved it. It was a wonderful movie.
If you don't know anything.
It was a wonderful movie. So you knew that was going to happen?
No. I had an inkling.
I'm just saying, I liked it so much it overcame the Regal experience.
Wow,
it was able to overcome Regal.
What about the spit?
That's my favorite part.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah. No, I loved it. It's not friendship. Like friendship.
You know, I met her.
Yeah. She was on a couch at a party and you went over there.
You were there.
And I let you do that. It's not Friendship, because Friendship is a movie that feels like it was made for me. Yeah. Like it was like somebody looked into my brain and was like it's gonna happen in 10 years when you're just gonna sit down at Netflix and AI is gonna make the movie for you and we're all gonna be out of jobs. But as if you could tap into my brain and just make the thing that I wanted, it would be Friendship. It wouldn't be Sinners, but
if you had to invest in something that needed to be made,
you'd invest in
Sinners,
so
right?
Well done.
Yes, great movie.
It's just so well done. It just keeps happening. Everything that happens is like, well, that was.
Did you stay for the end scenes?
For the end and then the end?
Yeah.
Jenna told me about that.
Yeah.
Jenna told me about the second at the end of the credits.
Yeah.
I don't want movies to go away, and I don't want movie theaters to go away, because there's, it got close, and it's still a little bit hanging by a thread. Like the pandemic, there's people who won't go see movies now, but I don't know. There's just something about seeing movies.
They're convinced that and I've been convinced that it's not better. Just see it at home.
It is better in the movie theater. Be lazy. It is better in the movie theater.
But it is better.
A 8-foot wide head
is better.
Is better than an 8-inch head.
Yeah, it's better.
You know?
I mean, do we need to break out our tape? No, we don't need to measure anything.
I don't want to let go of that. Maybe I'm old school, but I just don't think it's the same. It's definitely not the same on a phone. There's kids who watch movies on phones.
Kids, yeah.
Well, they're the kids will be the adults, and then they'll make the rules. We cannot let them win this battle.
True. So we're pulling for movies.
And AMC, I think they're doing a really good job.
Yeah.
You have a Coca-Cola Freestyle machine, you're 99% of the way.
It's the only place I can get Mellow Yellow Zero on the planet. Like I went to, what do they call them? Gas stations. And I go in there, I'm like, I'm gonna go in here and get myself a treat. And I wanted a Mellow Yellow Zero. Yeah, that's not gonna be in there. Matter of fact, Mellow Yellow's not even gonna be in there. What's wrong with our coast? Nobody likes Mellow Yellow anymore.
Yeah, y'all are confused about that.
Mellow Yellow Zero I need that in my life. Can you get it in cans?
This summer, we're very much looking forward to relaxing, having some fun, spending more time outdoors and less time in the kitchen, thanks to HelloFresh.
HelloFresh makes it ridiculously easy to whip up delicious home-cooked meals, even if you're like me and your kitchen skills aren't the best. Last week, I tried their pasta primavera. I don't know how they pack that much flavor into a 20-minute recipe.
And if you're short on time, like I've got 3 minutes in a dream short, HelloFresh just launched ready-made meals.
These heat-and-go HelloFresh meals are chef-crafted, flavorful dishes ready in just 3 minutes, so you can dig in and go do summer right.
My mouth is already watering looking at the Southwest-inspired chicken bowl and the stir-fried udon with pulled pork and veggies. There's also a creamy Alfredo truffle cavatappi pasta and an Indian-inspired chicken paired with turmeric rice. I'm drooling.
And the best part, these are all ready to eat after a quick spin in the microwave.
Feel great with meals that fit your summer schedule and make the season even more delicious.
Go to HelloFresh.com/ear10FM now to get 10 free meals. That's where the 10FM comes from, 10 free meals. With a free item for life, 1 per box with active subscription.
Free meals applied at discount on first box. New subscribers only, varies by plan.
HelloFresh.com/ear10FM. I mean, we really talked about these movies.
Yeah, we did.
We need to talk about our Golden Tee of Mythicality giveaway. Of course, every year we make a shirt called the Golden Tee of Mythicality. It's a cool design this year. And when you order it, if what shows up at your door is not the standard color, which is cool and worth the money you paid for it, but instead it's bronze, silver, or gold, you get cash. How much cash?
Well, if you get the bronze tee, $5,000. If you get the silver tee, $15,000. And if you get the golden tee, you will receive $30,000. So it's all cash prizes this year.
But it's this week only. Now through Friday, so grab your tee for a chance to win. You gotta be 18 or older, no purchase necessary, terms and conditions apply, void where prohibited. Visit mythical.com for more details, all right? So after we left there, we walked down the street to Indian restaurant that I highly recommend, Bar.
Oh yeah, I haven't been there, but it's supposed to be like one of the best places.
I've been there twice. They know me.
Oh, Bar.
Yeah, I might get a little extra something. It's a Indian fusion restaurant, very thoughtful. You can get like your butter chicken and your naan, but you can get some really fun apps.
Did we not go to that there's one in New York, right?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, I put it on my list
Yes.
of restaurants, and I forgot that they had put one here.
And the booths are really fun to sit in with a group because you're kind of sitting all in a circle, so it's fun. Very good. Then our other friend met us, and yep.
It's on the New York City list.
I recommend it.
I gotta go.
And then we went. We left there and we went to the Arts District. There's a barcade there that has like across from Della Nonna Pizza.
Yeah.
It's called the bar's called 88 something. I don't know why I can't remember right now. But it's pinball machines, arcade games, and then DJs spinning like old school hip hop, which is nice, and I love that. So we hung out there for a while until we went to another DJ event, which you buy tickets to this event in Chinatown. You like walk through like the Chinatown part of LA, and then you go to this club, and they have an event called Boombox LA that they do. I think it's the first Saturday of every month, and so they'll have like established DJs come through there who are like very good at what they do. So there was like a couple. We watched a couple of DJs there, and we stayed there till like 2:30 in the morning. And then
nobody dropped off.
Nobody dropped off. Everybody did good.
That's a lot.
Everybody's up for it.
That's a lot.
So yeah, I know I can count on those guys to stick with me.
I can't sleep in, so I can't. I just don't stay up unless it's.
I literally slept till it never happens, but after 2 nights of partying, my double party system, I literally slept until 12:30. Like
I wish,
like
man.
a teenager. I mean, that doesn't happen to me, and it's happening less and less. The more that I stay up late, I'm still getting up because my brain wakes me up saying I have to drink coffee or I'm going to hurt too much is what it says to me. That's why I wake up. But that's still like nowhere near any later than like 7:45 a.m. to sleep. Yeah. So I couldn't believe it. I slept till afternoon. It's never happened.
That's a good sleep too. You get the good dreams when you do that morning.
I skipped a whole coffee. I woke up for my next
sleep.
coffee, and it was fine.
Yeah.
It was funny when I was getting out of bed. I would have bet money it was 8:30. Like that's how out of it I was. But I had a good time. Yeah, I'm sure there's still going to be. I'll probably crash again this afternoon. I don't know, but it was totally worth it. I had a great time with both groups. I had the best time with you though, Rhett.
Oh,
yep. Yep.
I had the best time with you, Link.
Yep. Thank you. It was fun. Any questions? Well, I was asking
about the parties. Oh,
yeah. Any questions about my parties, Jamie, or a voicemail?
How about a voicemail?
Okay.
Unless you do have a question.
I do. Well, I had this thing that I saw on TikTok of this woman crashing out in real time in front of everybody, in like the best way. It's like lighthearted.
Okay.
But I thought you guys would get a kick out of this. So this woman is asking what the color of her chair is.
Okay.
Because she's very confused about it.
Is this chair gray or blue? Because I'm giving it away to someone and I'm sending pictures and I'm like, it's a blue chair. And they're like, that's gray. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's blue. And she's like, can you get more pictures? It's gray. And I'm like, okay, but my couch and my chair have always been blue. But now she's gaslighting me and I'm starting to believe it. I'm like, is it gray? Is this blue or gray?
Yeah, take it to TikTok.
Okay, this is the chair.
Yeah, it's gray.
I think it's photographing a little more gray, but it matches this couch, which I've always said is blue.
It's gray.
It's also gray, yeah.
I think it's my phone. It's definitely blue. What color? Is this gray or is it blue? And also, I shouldn't be stressing this much over a free chair. Either one
It's free?
But is it blue or is it gray?
Yeah.
So
It's not blue or gray. It's free, is what you should be telling the Facebook Marketplace person. Yeah, your phone is processing the information, and it's spitting it out as gray. I mean,
Yeah, there's really no way that we can know, honestly. We're not there, but what you just showed us was gray.
if it's in the
Like
if,
what
if
we
it's
saw
blue in
was
the room-
gray.
Yeah, you say, you know what? Gray to the camera, blue to the eye. That's what you should say. Gray to the camera, blue to the eye. It's a feature, not a bug.
So she goes on and like makes all these different videos where she's bringing stuff around her house to show.
She's going nuts.
She's going absolutely nuts. And the more items she brings, like she's like this blanket is blue, and everyone's like, honey,
Let me see.
the blanket.
Everything else she brings.
Everything
Let me see
else
this.
she brings is not like
She doesn't have anything blue.
she has a couple blue things,
She
and
don't-
so
she don't
it's
know what blue is.
interesting to see. Like, hold on. And this has almost 20 million views, by the way, of like everyone this woman finding out she's colorblind in real time.
Yeah, that might be what's happening.
You think that's what it is?
Just wait.
Just wait, hold on. I'm
Oh,
gonna match
shit.
these up right now.
We're going to do a test. It's hard to argue against 4,000 people saying that it's gray, but if this is gray, I'm
Yeah, that's great.
okay.
So what else you got?
The blinds are open. The light is on. This is blue and blue.
Oh no! And she, look,
blue.
she's got. There
Is
was
it
a
not blue?
there was a blue notebook on that thing.
Okay. Gray curtains.
Yeah, that's light gray.
Blue
That's blue.
jacket.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Blue jacket.
There's hope for her at this point. She's identified
Black.
two things correctly.
Oh, God.
3 colors.
This is a very similar shade of blue.
No.
Those are pretty similar.
That's blue.
Or like,
Sorry, girl.
and this is gray.
You're right about that.
That's gray. This is blue.
Correct.
And does she have colored
Hold
pencils?
on.
She thinks the color
This
pencils are the
blanket's
same color
blue.
as the couch.
But this definitely has like multiple tones in it, but that's blue. And this card is blue.
Yeah.
But she thinks they're the
I'm
same as
just
the
seeing all different shades of blue. Or like it looks just as different from the gray sweatshirt as it like
Isn't she precious? Should she be protected at all costs? Is that what's about to happen?
Yes.
No, I don't think so. She's not.
Basically,
She's not
She
precious
shouldn't be
enough.
trusted in like a kindergarten classroom.
she basically and
Because she doesn't know the difference between blue and gray. is what I'm
no,
saying.
but because she was trying to say that yes, there are different shades. The things she was pointing out were blue, but she thought they were the same as the couch. Was
Yeah.
what she was getting at, and she takes a colorblind test and finds out that she is colorblind.
Oh yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense.
But it was just like she literally throughout all day Sunday, like this developed
Wow.
of her just crashing out and realizing that she's colorblind in front of 20 million
and
people.
I'm assuming that she's the type of colorblind where she is just seeing things that are blue as gray essentially and thinks that that's blue. Meaning that like
Apparently.
gray is what I would say like the absence of color, right? It's just black and white. It's black and white mixed at a certain shade.
Okay.
So she doesn't pick up on blue things. And they just look gray to her. So gray became blue to
Became
her.
blue. And she never knew that she had a visual impairment of sorts. I bet she was a little bit crushed. I remember when I was told I had to get glasses.
You were upset.
It just feels weird, you know? It's like, but talk about feeling gaslit. She was gaslit by her own eyes. That's going to feel
That's
weirder
tough.
than getting glasses
That's
because,
tough.
hold on, my entire life, my eyes have been lying to me, and now it's the ridicule of TikTok that has brought clarity. I feel crushed. I mean, yeah, I'd crash out a little bit, I
I
guess.
would too, 100%. That's why everyone was like, I'm going to hold your hand. It's like, it's going to
Yeah.
be okay.
Yeah. You've been living with this. Nothing is going to change except now you just have a label for this thing that you experience.
Yeah, and in a follow-up, she's like, I got my mom a blue couch for her room, like for her living room. And when she was telling her this story, her mom's like, oh, okay, well, I have to tell you, honey, the couch you got me is not blue and it is gray. And she's like, you never told me. She's like, you were so excited about it.
Maybe it's just furniture or stuff you can drape over furniture.
She probably thinks...
At some point, she probably did think that.
She thinks a donkey is blue?
Well, she might.
I think that would come up.
Babe the Blue Ox. That's where that came from. A colorblind writer.
Potentially. Speaking of writer, didn't we get a response from our romance novel author? Can you?
Oh, really?
Can you read that for us?
Yes. Okay, so Peyton Corinne did respond to our TikTok. She said, Peyton Corinne here. I am still in shock that this happened. GMM has been a comfort to me for over 10 years now, helped me through my loneliness and the grief of losing my dad. It was something personal to me that I wanted to include in Freddie's character, and I'm so happy to say I've connected with so many more GMM fans on my tour and events. To see you guys who I've watched daily for 10 plus years holding my little book is so surreal and amazing. Thank you for everything you've done. Truly honored. P.S. Very much down for an exclusive GMM cover with you guys as the models.
Yes! Yes!
We got to make that happen.
So I'll be the guy and you'll be the tutor?
I think she's going to have to write something. She's going to have to write something where there's two suitors.
Yeah, you got to write a new one. Well, I'm so glad we got that backstory. Thank you for commenting that, and thank you for for incorporating us into your novel because we had an impact on your life. Sorry to hear about your dad, and but glad we were there for you. And then you return the favor. Yeah, keep writing us into stuff. If you're right, then we can be on the cover. Two suitors.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to completely. I mean, maybe this is like a two cover situation, and the love interest, you can, like, whoever you want to picture. No, that's not how romance novels work. There has to be like descriptions of his hair and his whether or not he's got glasses and a beard or whatever.
So you're saying that you write a romance novel where the character is either me or there's a duplicate, but only difference is
I'm saying
a different character.
You can't do that.
That's a good idea.
You can't do that though because
two books.
My wife reads romance novels enough for me to understand that there is basically like a lumberjack type that shows up in a lot of stories, and so that would be like physically what it would be like me, like you could beard, long hair kind of thing. It's like that's usually a specific type of guy.
Right. But then they would...
That's a totally different story.
Rewrite the story.
Like where that guy comes from.
If it was a different guy.
Yeah, but his whole interaction would be different. I think there's got to be two guys in the story.
I think this is a good exploration of a romance novel. Of like, it starts with like a choose your own adventure. Like after chapter 1, she either goes with guy A or guy lumberjack. And then you read the rest of the novel and you know which one you're getting because of which one of us is on the cover. Now you've made yourself out to be a lumberjack. Now what am I going to be?
Well, I'm just saying that Jesse has described.
Can I be a spy?
The type of.
What am I going to be?
I would physically track onto. I'm definitely not I'm not that. Who's the guy? Who's the chopper on TikTok? I'm not that guy.
Thoren Bradley?
Yeah, I'm no Thoren Bradley.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jenna.
You're
I'm
welcome.
so quickly answering that question.
Yeah.
I'm not that sexy. I mean, I got a bad back. I can't pick up a log.
Well, that's what you are in fictional world.
The fictional me is Thoren Bradley.
Yeah, but what am I? Who am I?
The DJ? What is Link's type in a romance novel?
Spy? Elf?
The DJ could work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DJ could work. Like world traveler DJ.
Uh-huh.
Always whisked off to the next spot.
Nutty Professor.
You want to come with? Nutty Professor.
Well, you have a Nutty Professor vibe, though.
You're like the DJ,
know.
but you don't have the like you go against the odds. You're not like the typical DJ trope of like being like an F-boy kind of situation.
Okay.
You surprise the main character by being like, oh, he's a DJ, but he's got...
Yeah, the main character assumes that he
Mhm.
will be the stereotypical type.
Yes.
And then gets to know you. Yeah. Yep. There's something there. There's something there.
But what do I look like on the cover? Just a DJ? Just a guy DJing?
Yeah, you got headphones.
No, I don't think,
Hitting the volume knob.
at the
Looking
wrong
at, like,
time.
Was that me?
It's not leading man enough. Come on, guys.
What are you talking about?
I just feel,
Women love DJs.
not in my experience.
It just depends, you know? It just depends.
Can I have knives? I'd like knives.
You're a knife guy.
What if I was
I think Corinne's gonna have to figure this out.
what if I was the unexpected babysitter of the child from your first marriage?
Okay.
A who's the boss type situation.
You're a Manny?
I'm a Manny.
Okay, all right. Go with that. Go with that.
I mean, super hot, carries knives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's still DJ, but that's what you. Oh, where do you have to go, Manny? Oh, I've got a show in Ibiza. That's like the reveal. Come with me to Ibiza.
Right.
You and your
But who's going to babysit the child now?
the lumberjack from the other book,
Yeah.
the one you didn't choose. It's the ex-husband.
Yeah, I do childcare.
We'll bring the baby. We'll bring the little lumberjack. So in yours, in my book, she has a child by you because that's a prequel. And I'm taking care of your baby. But then when you read my book, we also have a baby at the end that then you take care of in the other book.
Because
So each book is a prequel for the other book.
I'm also a Manny because of the like timber shortage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right.
But my
And
whole
the advent of
education system,
like the utilization of blown glass.
I'm a glass blower.
No, a lot of people are moving to blown glass instead of trees. So this is the plot. So now you're a man.
Blown glass for what? Construction?
Paper.
Yeah, I think we got to work on
Construction?
that.
I don't know.
We got to work on that.
I don't know.
I think it's the 3D printing of the houses that's happening.
You know what? I'll just be a glass blower. Sexy glass blower. I work with heat. I'm accustomed to it.
Okay. I could be a construction worker.
I've got a gentle touch and I've got a delicate blow.
There's a. You've seen the guys 3D printing the houses like it looks like a concrete taking a shit.
Yeah, a concrete. It's in a tube and the tube moves and yeah,
I could be that guy that runs that.
yeah. You're just You're a concrete.
But then
Man.
I turn out I'm bad, and I 3D print like an enclosure around her
No door.
with no doors, and then you have to come in and blow a hole,
Yeah, blow a
Into-
glass hole.
blow a glass hole into the concrete that hasn't dried yet.
Right.
But we can't make this about
That's it.
saving the woman. That's too old school. That's not what happens anymore. There's no saving the princess anymore.
We're saving the material cost of continuing with the project.
All right. Yes. Corinne, use any of that you want?
We're going to cut our loss. I'm so glad that you wrote back and that you saw that and that you were happy about it.
Yeah.
Are you happy about this?
Probably not.
I guess it requires another response from you.
Yeah.
And while we're at it, that lumberjack guy, what's his name again?
Thoren Bradley.
Thoren.
You know about this guy?
Yeah.
You've seen him,
He
right?
chops stuff.
He pops up on everybody's
He's
feed,
got
right?
he's got a wry look on his face, and I seem to think I know what he's doing. And I seem to think he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes he sets down something that's so big. I think we're all watching for different reasons. It's my guess. But he sets something down, and I'm like, how many times is it going to take? How many times is it going to take before he splits it?
And then you count.
And then you just watch it, and then you're just like, yep, there he goes. Up, there he goes. Up, and then he splits it. It's hypnotic in that way.
There's a release to it,
Yeah.
a symbolic release,
Mhm.
at least for me. So are we talking to him now? Let's have him on the show.
We should have him on the
We
show.
should have him on the show.
Yeah.
What about the episodes where we're trying to split something perfectly?
Why have we not thought about this?
We need to have
Thor.
Desmond Oakenshield, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Oakenshield. That works too.
Thoren Bradley.
Thoren Oakenshield.
If he knows what he probably doesn't even come to LA. He probably knows what's best.
Thoren, get your head out your own ass and come on
I
our
think he
show.
lives in Northern California, like
really?
on the he's at least on the coast up here. He's in our time zone for sure.
Okay.
I didn't look too deep into it, but I can tell by the woods.
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you.
It's not Southern Woods.
It's not Southern Woods now.
He's living in I can tell he's in the same time zone. I can feel it.
Okay, I promise it's not weird. I'm sorry, Thoren.
Yeah. We should definitely get him on.
But Jenna, you're gonna have to take a vacation day.
I'm gonna have to.
You can't be.
We don't need another Joe Jonas situation.
Yeah,
Yeah. We're gonna have,
that's right.
We're gonna have a porta potty outside for you.
I don't want any part of him.
Yeah, just go to the other side.
You're invited. You're invited on the show because we're not threatened by your masculinity. I can't even say the word.
Yeah, I want to see what a real lumberjack looks like.
I want to, I just want to hang out, and I want to be sexy by association.
Yeah. So we'll look into that.
Okay. Well, I'm feeling good about today. I had a good time. I had a real good time. There's nothing wrong with being colorblind. Let us know if you want us to respond to something by leaving us a voicemail. 1-888-EARPOD1. We'll talk at you next week.
Hi, Rhett and Link. My name is Rachel from Minnesota. I've been watching you guys for over 10 years now. When I first started dating my now boyfriend of about 2.5 years, you're just feeling somebody out. You're going on a couple dates, trying to decide, is this person for me? Are they a good person? What are the vibes? And when I found out that he watched GMM and knew who you guys were, that kind of cinched the deal for me. That was all I needed to know. Love you guys. Thanks. Bye.